Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. It's another one of my favorite games. I love space. Space is cool. It's amazing. It's fun. You know, I'm not particularly good at math, but I think I can throw a rocket into space, maybe kill a Kerbal or two. Hopefully not. But right now, we're going to go ahead and start a new game. I prefer science. Science is where we're at. So we're going to go ahead and create a new game. Ooh, space agencies. We actually have real space agencies now. That's kind of cool. But we're going to choose something different. Ooh, there's so many good flags. What do we want? Oh. Probodyne, R&D. Oh man, what are we? We are... You know what? We're going to go ahead and go with this one. Awesome. Let's go ahead and difficulty options. What's easy? Enable combat work, re-entry heating. Oh, interesting. Okay, science rewards. So just because, for time's sake, let's go ahead and do 150% science rewards. Everything else, negative funds. I'm not getting that. Part pressure limits, part G, blah, blah. Okay, so we'll go with that. Okay, I know how to play the game. I've played it ever since it was in alpha. I know things have changed a little bit over time, but thankfully in science mode everything's fully upgraded. You know, I don't have to upgrade anything. But we'll go from building to building. So administration, we don't care. We don't have any money. We don't have any contracts. We don't need to worry about that. Astronauts, yeah, astronauts are important. So we've got Jeb, Bill, Bob, and Valentina. They're all 5 stars here. Pilot, engineer, scientist, and pilot. So let's just get some. Let's get some really brave, uh, maybe some pretty stupid engineers and pilots. Yeah, cool. So now we have some backups. We don't have to pay for these people because, you know, we're not actually doing anything like that. Research and development. Cool. We can't afford anything. We don't have any tech. We don't have any research. So this is a big old tech tree. I don't have any of the DLC for this game, so it's just the base game. We got a tracking station, which we don't have anything in orbit, but here's a focus around Kerbin, our good old planet. And you can zoom out. You see all the other planets in the solar system. You've got the Mun, you've got Moho, you've got Eve, Kerbin, of course, Duna, Drez, Jewel, and then Elu way out here. So for now, we're just going to focus on getting some science. So we're going to go ahead and build ourselves a rocket. So the space plane hangar is, you know, you build space planes there. Yep, mission control is where you do contracts and stuff like that, but we don't do that. So vehicle assembly building. So vehicle assembly, this is kind of a space program for dummies, right? So you have your command pods, your fuel tanks, your engines, command and control, structural, coupling, payload, aerodynamics, ground, thermal, electrical, communications, science, cargo, and utility. Most of this stuff is pretty useless right now. We don't have any science, but we have to have our good old command pod. We got to put our Kerbals in here somewhere. There we go. See, they got a little kind of hatch here, but there's no current way to get it into orbit or even back. So normally what I like to do, right, is I would put a thermal, like a blast shield underneath the bottom of the capsule so it doesn't burn up on re-entry. But we don't even have those yet. So for now, what we're going to do is focus on a good old solid fuel engine. We got this tiny little engine, nothing much to do with it. We have nothing worth anything really here. Aerodynamics, of course. So down here on the bottom left, you can actually kind of make everything symmetrical. You can toggle it like to a snap to a certain degree, or to, you know, have it be just kind of wherever you want to put it. Nothing for the ground, no thermals yet, no electronics or comms yet, but science. We have science. Goo. We like goo, right? So doing science is what is going to get us going in our science campaign. So we'll do science on the ground, we'll do science in the atmosphere, we'll do science during launch, anything we can keep and collect to get science. Cargo, EVA jetpack, and personal parachute. Huh. Interesting. Can I... Oh, we can just charge that. Okay, so they already have that. That's new. So I didn't know that jetpacks and personal parachutes were in there. But of course, the Mark 16 parachute. So, we're going to go with... what naming convention should we go with? So the old programs used Greek gods. I'm going to go ahead and use Norse gods. So these initial ones, we're going to go with... We'll go with Uller. Uller is the god of skiing and of archery. So we'll go with that. Uller 1. We'll go ahead and save that. And go to the launch bay. Okay, so here we are on launch platform. So an important thing, right, is you got to do science everywhere, whatever layer of the atmosphere you're in, if you're on the ground or wherever you are. So right now, what we're going to do, our first thing, is we're going to observe our goo and take our science. Goo doesn't seem to be doing much. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. Keep the experiment. Cool. And then from Jebediah, right, we're going to go ahead and launch our rocket. It's a solid fuel booster, so it's just gonna go until it's empty. Here we go. And we should be doing science here while under pressure. We're gonna take that. And then we'll take our science at the top of the arc. So we're already out of fuel. And we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. And we made it just about to the top of our arc. We got another 200 meters to go before we start kind of going to zero here. But we're at a different layer of the atmosphere, so let's just keep going, see what we can do. And going, and we're going. There's 50 meters per second, 40 meters per second, 30, 20, and there. Okay, and here we go, back down to the ground. So we're going to deploy our chute now. We don't want to lose Jebediah. And we'll go ahead and let the aircraft nose over, which is fine. We didn't make it nearly anywhere into space. But that's okay. We'll go ahead and fall to the ground. We can fast forward these things so we can make it go faster. We don't have to watch the whole thing. As he accelerates to the surface below. And he's going to land just about to the left of the launch pad is what it looks like, depending on where this chute stops him. Ooh, hoo, hoo. He felt some G's there. And we're going to twirl safely to the ground. Let's go ahead and just drop it right here. Boop. There we go. So now we can get an EVA report. So he's going to go ahead and let go. And just bloop, plop onto the concrete. Let's go ahead and just walk him over to the grass. Alright, so Jeb, you survived your first spacewalk. Just kidding, it's an Earth walk. It's not it's not too crazy. We'll take a surface sample, of course. Burnt rocket propellant, yep, makes sense. EVA report. Okay, and then, you know, we're gonna plant a flag here. This will be our first landing. Uller 1 landing site. One small step for Kerbin, one tiny leap for Kerbin kind. Okay, and he already knocked it down, so that's cool. Well, either way, we'll go ahead and head back to the tracking station and collect our intrepid crew. So, Uller 1, we want to recover it. We got 24 science out of this. And then Jebediah, which... Uh-oh. Can we recover him? Jebediah, I would like to... Welp. I don't know what we can do about Jeb. So let's go ahead and back out of here. We probably should have grabbed him with the spacecraft. Either way, let's go ahead and do some R&D. So we have almost 25 science. So we need some basic rocketry, right? That'll give us some fuel tanks, liquid engines are important, and some engineering. So decouplers, thermometers, communitrons. So communitrons let you talk to probes and transmit science data. Thermometers, of course, temperature, and decouplers allow you to break away from your engines. We have 14 science left, and we can't afford anything else. 14.9, yep. So survivability is going to be kind of our next go-to here. Okay, so let's go back to our assembly building. So Uller 1 was a great success, but now we're going to go into Uller 2. We're going to put an even bigger engine on it. So we're going to go with the hammer booster. So that should, it's about twice the size. It should get us about twice the distance, right? That makes sense. So I'm actually going to put a decoupler here. So what will happen is the rocket will fire. Oops. The rocket will fire in this stage here. The rocket will go off. When the rocket's done, we'll decouple it, and then when that's done, we'll set our parachute. So of course we'll get our fins. Can't be aerodynamic without fins, right? Actually, go ahead and do our fins over here. Right there. Nothing for the ground, no thermal stuff, no electrical stuff. We don't need communications because we're gonna recover our intrepid hero. We're also gonna get thermometers here. Get our thermometers right above the door. That way we stay, relatively symmetrical. Well, actually, let's put it down on the bottom here. Yeah, we'll just put it right here. Easy enough. So there we go. We've got the same pod with a bigger engine and with more science on it. And we're going to go ahead and launch. Okay, so Valentina is here. And I think that's because Jeb is still stuck over there. That's awkward. Well, we'll do what we can for now. Let's go ahead and log some temperature data. Let's go ahead and get a crew report from the ground. We've already gotten our goo from this area. Here we go. Bye, Jeb. I don't know why you're still down there and why I couldn't recover you. Alright, so while we're flying, so we'll record that data. Once we hit the next bracket of atmosphere, that dark blue up there, we'll go ahead and record another one. Well, actually, here we go. Observe our mystery goo. So we didn't really get anything much here, but we've got way higher in the atmosphere. Go ahead and log this data. Observe our mystery goo up here. Let's see how actually high we get. We've got plenty to go here. Toggle map. We actually make it into space a little bit. Wow. There we go. You see the moon in the background. So in this game, it's the moon, M-U-N, not moon, like we know and love. Okay, and here we go. We're just about to make it into space. And there we go. Yep, it's getting very cold. We've got a little bit to go here. Let's go EVA. She can hold on, do an EVA report. Our first spacewalk is Valentina. Uh-oh. Get on board, Valentina. So we need to go retrograde. So we're still going. We've got all our temperatures logged. Yep, we've got all our goo logged as well. Well, actually, we have one more goo to do here. But we don't know where we're going to land. So that's okay. And there you go. There's the space music. So congratulations to Uller 2 for making it into space. And you can see the belt of the galaxy here. All the gas clouds and extra stars in the arm of the galaxy. Just aligned there with the mud. Here we go. We're at the apoapsis, the top of our arc. So this would be an ellipse, and it would go through the planet. But we don't have enough in the way of, well, anything to really get that out there. We can't get around the planet, so we were just falling back into the planet. And of course, we'll be going pretty much straight down here, and we'll be landing in the ocean. So hopefully, we survived this re-entry. I'm gonna go ahead and accelerate here a little bit. So this is gonna be one hell of a re-entry. Once we can we'll use the rocket to break our fall a little bit, hopefully. Which it doesn't look like it's doing. So that doesn't bode too well. There we go. Alright, get back on track. Let's just eject that, because that's just not gonna work. So we're gonna watch that fall away as it accelerates, and then catches the air. And we're gonna go faster than it. Oh. Okay, we just gotta wait for our chute to be able to open. We're going very, very fast, but the air is starting to slow us down again. I don't know where the rest of our rocket went. There we go. I can deploy the chute, so that's something I want to do really early on. So we were projected to end up in the ocean, but the wind has kind of pushed us away from that. So Valentina is going to come and land. She's going to take a soil sample while she's out here. And then we'll get her actually back on board, because apparently I need to recall Jeb somehow. Whoa. The rocket engine exploded somewhere nearby. And here we go, on the ground. So she's going to go EVA. She's going to hit spacebar to let go. And she's going to take a surface sample. Yep, it looks like dirt. And she's going to go back on board. There we go. And we're going to go back to the tracking station. And we're going to collect all of our science. So, Jeb, let's recover you first. Here we go. So we've got a bunch of science from Jeb. 18.4 science. Thank you, Jeb. Good to know that you're back. And from Uller 2, so why can't I... let's track flags. There we go. I just couldn't select it. How interesting. We're going to go ahead and recover Uller 2. Wow, we got so much science out of that. Most excellent. So we had our first spacewalk. We collected a large surface sample. We got an EVA report. We got some temperature readings. So let's go back to Iron D. We've got 100 to deal with, so let's get survivability. So that'll give us like more parachutes and heat shields and barometers, of course, but heat shields are more important than anything else. Stability, I mean, wings and nose cones are going to be more important later. General rocketry. Yep, so liquid fuel engines, big thumper solid fuel booster. Advanced rocketry. So you got like bigger tanks and light liquid engines. I like general construction. I like having this stability enhancer. It's just a big pylon that holds onto your... Oh, that's cool. That can hold onto your rocket on the aviation, I mean, planes are cool. I'm not a huge fan of the airplanes in this game. The aeronautics are very difficult to take care of, which is fine. You know, I understand that. So I went with electronics, basic science, right? So we've got battery packs, the Probodyne Stay Putnik. It's our first kind of a drone. So there's no crew. And we're just going to launch it. And we're going to just add some experiments and see what the heck we can get out of it. It's going to be one heck of a launch. So let's go ahead and we're going into unmanned missions now. So with that, right? So we want a new spaceship, right? We're gonna do Freuer. Freuer 1. Oops. Freuer 1. Freuer is the Norse god of he's got weather, fertility. So let's go ahead and hopefully the weather is good enough to get our Stay Putnik into space. We don't really have any command and control modules, so let's actually not do that yet. So never mind. We'll go ahead and we'll do Uller 3 then. We need some command and control modules to be able to really command this thing other than up, down, left, right. So we're going to keep going with the manned missions, which is not how it went in real life, which is fine. Let's go ahead and put a payload on here. There was a Science Junior is what it was called. There we go. Science Junior. So Science Junior holds experiments. You run it and you open the door and it'll run all these different experiments in here automatically. If it was on a space station, you'd have to have a scientist come in and redo everything. But for the science bay, what we'll do is go ahead and do some electrical stuff. We'll get some batteries on there. Always important. We'll just, we'll put the batteries right together in the middle. For science, we've got thermometers. So let's get some thermometers on there. We've got these barometers now. So barometers are cool. Takes air pressure data. Yeah, warranty void if exposed to air. That's pretty funny. Yeah, so the warranty don't work no more. Warranty's dead. And of course we've got our goo canisters in here. So that should take care of all of our science. So this time, this is more important. These are pretty heavy. I want to make sure these land safely. So we're going to go ahead and we'll get our standard parachute. But the radial kind of drogue chutes, the drogue chutes will open higher up in the atmosphere, and they'll help us slow down. And then to be just kind of extra cautious, right? We got these big guys here, these big old parachutes. So we've got all these parachutes to go off kind of at once. Okay, now we got to put the engines on it. So I want to do first. I want to put a heat shield, right? Because I don't trust like that. I don't expect to have the rocket while we re-enter the atmosphere, because we're gonna get into space. It's just gonna happen. So let's go ahead and get a big ol'. We're gonna get this big Johnny. Oh yeah, look at how big this rocket is. This is kind of obscene, right? But we want to be able to decouple it. We're going to be able to blast it away when the time comes. So this is definitely a little bit bigger than the last ones. And now we can do radial decoupling. So here, right, we can just add more rockets, which is something I want to do, right? So we'll put these 3 hammer guys on here, or even better, let's just go big or go home, right? So let's go ahead and put the thumpers on here. We're going to put them a little bit lower. And the aerodynamics, right? So we got those nose cones. Bam, nose cones. See, we've already got this all figured out. And structural, we don't have anything there. Coupling, we don't have anything. So this is what we're gonna have to deal with for Uller 3. Looks like Jeb's gonna be our guy for this one. So what we're gonna do, staging wise, We're going to fire 3 rockets, decouple, central rocket, decouple, come back to Kerbin. Here we go. All right, here we are on the launch pad. Gonna set all that up, and here we go. Off into space. Now, a good rule of thumb is to, once we hit about 10,000 meters or so, kind of lean the rocket over, lean it over toward the east. So that way we can kind of get it toward space a little bit easier. There we go. Looking in here. Yeah, so we'd want to go to the east, kind of get that bigger arc kind of going around. So here we go. Just kind of start working that. And not spinning the aircraft, of course. The spacecraft, excuse me. So here we go. Got a slight lean. We're slowing down a little bit. Break those guys away. And ignite the next one. Now that we're much lighter, we're just a single rocket. And as you can see, what our tilt is doing, see how our tilt is kind of pushing our arc out that direction, right? So we're going to want it to kind of burn sideways to extend that arc. So we've only got half of a fuel tank left, which is not a lot, but we're going to keep accelerating. This actually may get us into a sustained orbit, which would be not good. And also, we don't want to break away either. That would be bad. So we're definitely into space now. Oh, wow, we're going to get way into space. And there we go. So we're going to break that away. We're way up in space here. So let's go ahead and do some materials studies. Okay. Microgravity has greatly affected the growth of crystalline structures. Loose objects are also flying around the bay in a very messy but fascinating way. 37.5 science. So, boop, we'll keep that. We'll close the doors. Go ahead and open this up. So, we're pretty sure we've already seen the goo, right? Nothing really we can get new with the goo. But in space near Kerbin, crumbled into a sphere. Okay, 15. Let's see what we can do for thermometers. Log that temperature is 12. That's nice. And then the barometers, right? Oh, no, you're in vacuum. Weird. Okay, so the rest of it we'll do on the way back. So, let's go ahead and do a crew report. We're in space. Weird. Go EVA real quick. Jeb. Good old Jeb. Let's go ahead and do an EVA report. You recorded your observations about the situation. Yep, you're in space, Jeb. Go ahead and get back on board. Alright, so the moon's still over there. We're still on day 1. I mean, 3 minutes into the venture, which is kind of silly, right? That would be unrealistic. This would be years and years of R&D, and then each launch would be a month or 2 apart, maybe. So a cool thing, right, is we can kind of accelerate time. We can warp out here as the planet is rotating below us. Here we are at the top of the apoapse. Wow, look at that. If any of you flat earthers out there, look at this. Just, you're so incredibly wrong. Look at the curve. It's a sphere. Alright, maybe we'll get something different from our mystery goo. 22.5 science. Yep. High space. So high space is cool. I'm sure this is going to be the same. Yep. High space. So high space is different than low space. Measuring the temperature of space appears to be quite impossible, as there's no matter around to be either hot or cold, except the spacecraft and the thermometer itself. Probably going to have to give the R&D guys something to think about for a while. Alright. Now, all we have to do is just kind of ride it out to the end. We're out of fuel. We have plenty of our ablator, which is our heat shield, monopropellant, which is not useful to us here, and then electricity. We have a little bit of electricity, 226 units, volts would presumably be that, or amps. And so we wait as we head back toward the atmosphere. So let's go ahead and just warp time a little bit. So we're going to be coming down on the night side of the of Kerbin, and we have no idea if we're going to hit water or if we're going to hit land. So this way we can get some good samples too. As long as we don't burn up on re-entry, and as long as we don't re-enter too quickly. So let's see. This is 1 minute kind of down the line here. Okay, so we're still at 100,000 meters. At the edge of the atmosphere is about 52,000 meters-ish. So we've got a little while to go. So a lot of this game is just kind of sitting and waiting. Oh man, look at that sunset. Whew, that was gorgeous. Wow, absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait for Kerbal Space Program 2. All right, here we go. We're getting back into the atmosphere now. Okay, so I was wrong. 60,000 meters. About to be the top-ish. Here we go. Starting to heat up already. Starting to turn. Here we go. There's our heat. Like a meteor coming in. Yeah, Jeb is he's looking okay. Well, as long as nothing burns off, right? Whoa, uh-oh. And there we go. So things are starting to heat up. We're going the wrong way. This is bad. Oh, oh no. Oh no. Oh, we're like a speeding bullet. Oh, Jeb, no. Oof. And there he was. Gone. Rest in peace, Jeb. So we can always kind of revert these things if we don't like what happened. But this time I'm just gonna let it happen. Rest in peace, Jeb. And with our first failure on the books, that's where I'll leave it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like this, go ahead and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what kind of rocket configurations I should make. And maybe we shouldn't re-enter the atmosphere at such a high, such a high angle. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.